Hey guys, this is Smithy. Welcome to my channel. If you guys are new here, welcome, and if you guys have already been subscribed to the channel, thank you so much for subscribing. Today's video is a super special one because it's in a collaboration with one of my friends here on YouTube, and she is Coralie from Coralie Rose Beauty. I absolutely loved creating this video for you guys with her. It was quite a struggle, I must say, because it's choosing top 15 one and done eyeshadows for brown eyes. So I am going to do brown eyes. She has beautiful blue eyes, so she's going to do top 15 eyeshadows for blue eyes. Do check out her video too. She's absolutely amazing. You would absolutely love her. I have no doubts. So if you guys have brown eyes and if you want to see what shadows look best on brown eyes, especially one and done eyeshadows, then stay tuned and please keep on watching. And definitely do check Coralie's channel also out. And if you're going to her channel from my channel, send her a hi from my side. I know that she loves me. And lots of love to Coralie. Thank you so much for collaborating with me. I had absolutely a blast creating this video. So thank you so much again. Now, if you guys want to see what are the 15 shadows that I chose for brown eyes, then please keep on watching. So let's just talk overall what colors make brown eyes pop. If you go by the color wheel itself, there is nothing in the brown range, if you would see, but the most complementary colors to the browns would be more of those copper tones, more of the bronzes, or with a purple undertone is what makes the brown eyes like really pop out. But if you're not thinking about one and done eyeshadows and if you're just talking about like the lid shades, I would just suggest you a few palettes that really are meant for like brown eyes, I would think, because mostly with the brown eyes, it's the jewel tones that really make the brown color pop. So some of the few recommendations would be Colourpop So Jaded palette, which is like full of jewel tones. So all these jewel tones, even if you're not like applying, I'm so sorry if you're hearing noise in the background, my boys are awake. So yeah, I cannot contain that. If you go with like the normal bronzes and browns and after that you are applying a lid shade, these jewel tones are like just wow on your eyes, especially if you have brown eyes. So one option would be this So Jaded palette. The second option, I myself am not big on greens, but green eyeshadow really make brown eyes pop. And for that, I would recommend Urban Decay's Born to Run palette. And especially these greens and blues are absolutely wonderful on brown eyes. These purpley tones, this rusty tones, these bronzes. I mean, this palette is a brown eye person's dream. This is absolutely wonderfully curated in such a way that will make your brown eyes pop. So this would be my second recommendation. My third recommendation would be Colourpop's At For a Sight palette. Now this palette has some beautiful jewel tones mattes. If you're looking for like matte shades that would look amazing on brown eyes, look no further, just go for the At For a Sight palette. You would absolutely love it. So these were my top 3 recommendation palette wise for brown eyes. Now let's move on to individual shadows that I've picked out from my whole collection that would suit the brown eyes the most. So without further ado, let's look what are my top 15 eyeshadows that would make the brown eyes pop. Ritz. And this is how Ritz looks. I mean, it's very hard to show it inside the pan, but truly speaking, it just transforms like none other on the eyes. I mean, look at that. To see how it has like a nude base, but as soon as the light reflects it, you can see those silver specks peeking through. It's such an amazing shadow. So this was Colourpop's Ritz. Now let's talk about another Colourpop shadow that I'm really crazy about, and that is Like a Moss from Raw Beauty Christie collaboration. And this is more of like a green gold, I would say. It's definitely a duochrome. See, it has like a brown terracotta base, but it reflects more of like a green gold when the light hits the eye. Again, another stunning shade in the collection. Beautiful for one and done eyeshadow, especially if you have like brown eyes, and it's so creamy. I mean, this feels like so creamy, and so does Ritz. I think the other Super Shock shadows are like dried out. Just because it has like that brown terracotta base, I would definitely recommend just going over like a brush and just smoothing out the crease. And this is how Like a Moss looks on my lid. Stunning, absolutely stunning shadows. The next shadow that I have to mention is from Essence Melted Chrome Eyeshadow. And the two that I really want to emphasize on is in the shade Warm Bronze. And this is like my go-to. I definitely love this more than any of the shades that I own for sure. But I also wanted to just show you the shade which is called Zinc About You, which is more of that taupey purple shade. Both of them would look stunning on brown eyes. One has more of that purpley taupey undertone and the other one is more of a true bronze. And this is the shade Warm Bronze. You definitely don't need anything else if you're just going with this shade. I mean, this is absolutely a stunning bronze. Let me also just swatch Zinc About You on the other eye. Since we are already here, look how icy and taupey this is. This is actually the shade that I was wearing as my lid shade in my Best of Purple eyeshadows. Superbly stunning shade. Now, because this has a lot of like, you know, a silver undertone to it with the taupiness, I would definitely recommend this if you are little more of a lighter skin tone than me. This would look stunning on you. And this is how Zinc About You looks. And these shadows are like couple of bucks. Superb quality but inexpensive. I absolutely am a big fan of these. Now next one is from Urban Decay and this is in the shade Lithium. I love this as a one and done eyeshadow. I mean, this packs a punch. If you are going for a smoky eye look, this all over the eye and then just blend it out on the crease. It's such a stunning shade. Look at that, how impactful it is. Another thing I definitely wanted to just like include, I don't think this is available right now, but I have it in my Moondust eyeshadow palette and this is the shade Magnetic, same from the Urban Decay Moondust palette. But as you know, like purple flatters brown eyes like no other. I mean, and this shadow is like stunning. It definitely has like blue and pink and purple like shimmer running throughout it. But it's such an impactful eyeshadow. It's stunning. It's absolutely stunning. So this is Urban Decay's Lithium and this is Urban Decay's Magnetic. A similar shadow to that would be in the Too Faced Pumpkin Spice palette and the shade is called PSL and Chill. If you are in the lookout for this kind of an eyeshadow, I mean, that is an amazing dupe. And this is how it looks on my lids. I really hope that the glitter in the dimension is like reflected when I'm showing it to you guys, because this is definitely stunning. Of course, I'm not wearing any mascara, so you cannot like get the whole effect if I'm wearing it with the mascara. But nonetheless, I really didn't want to put mascara and like take it off after every swatch. So that's why I'm avoiding that. So the next eyeshadow that I really want to include was Pat McGrath's Gold Nectar. And this is from their Eye Ecstasy Sublime palette. And it is this shade that I'm talking about. And I also would swatch the duochrome that is red and green. And this is called Pat McGrath Corruption. Both of these shades are like absolutely stunning because of that red undertone and that bronzy undertone. This would make brown eyes pop. So I'm going to put Gold Nectar on this eye. Oh my God, look at that. So far we're going like brand by brand. Completely unintentional. And this is how Gold Nectar looks on my eyes. Now let's swatch Corruption. I actually do have a tutorial using Corruption, when I'm trying this palette for the first time. I'll link it in the iCards above for you guys to check that out. That's one of my favorite looks that I've created. And look how stunning does that look. It looks like green in some angles. It looks like red copper in some angles. Absolutely a stunning shade. And this is how Corruption looks on my eyelids. See how when you turn it around, it feels a lot more green on the outer corners, but that's how the light catches it. Absolutely stunning. So again, this is Pat McGrath's Gold Nectar and this is Pat McGrath's Corruption. I am going to show you one more Pat McGrath eyeshadow, bear with me, but I definitely had to show it to you guys because if I do not show you, that would be a crime for sure. And that is from my Bronze Seduction palette, and the shadow that I'm talking about is this one, the white one that looks. It's a Blitz Astral Formula from the Pat McGrath shadow, and this is absolutely stunning. Look at that. So with the brown eyes, actually any jewel tone colors and shades look absolutely spectacular. But look at that. The shine is like no other. Even the shade, this one, I mean, I don't know what's the shade name, but right next to this one, this is more of that green. This would look more like that Like a Moss shadow from Colourpop that I showed it to you. Let me just swatch it for you guys just to see. And this rose gold, I'm pretty sure Coralie is going to do a lot of rose gold, so I'm avoiding that. Both those shadows, even the rose gold looks crazy on the eyes. Look at that. That's the green that I was talking about, and this is what I have on my eyelids. Can you see how it just goes away like a nude base, and as soon as the light hits it, it's like bam. So cool it is. A similar shadow, not that reflective, but one that complements brown eyes like no other, is from my Dose of Colors Friendcation palette. And I know that this is not available, but I still can find it in Beautylish. So I will link it in the description box below. I link all these products in the description box below for you guys to check it out. And the shade that I'm going to talk about is Dirty Money. And this is more of the olive green kind of a shade. Look at that. And this is definitely like a Dirty Money color. It's a olive green shade, but with like a gold specks running throughout it. I also have a tutorial on this on my channel. I think it's called Evening Glam Look or something like that. I'll link it in the iCards above. Do check it out if you are looking for this kind of a shade. And this is Dirty Money from Dose of Colors Friendcation palette. And guys, I mean, all the shimmers in the Friendcation palette is absolutely stunning. Even this shade, Try Me from this palette, I mean, I'll swatch both of these for you guys. Stunning shades, absolutely stunning. Now let's move on to the AB8's Jackie Aina palette, and the shade that I'm going to swatch is called Sponsored. If you cannot find Jackie Aina palette, a similar shade is available also in the Tiny Marvels palette by Sydney Grace, and the shade name is called Scarab. This one, it's the same duochrome, like green with a brown undertone. So I'm going to swatch that on my eyes. I know Jackie Aina palette would be hard to get your hands on, so I'm going to swatch Scarab. But both of them are pretty similar on the eyes. Even the shift is very similar. It's with a brown base and a green flip. The other shade that I also want to mention from the Jackie Aina palette is called Literation. I couldn't find a dupe, so I'm just going to swatch this one. But this is such a beautiful taupey purple shade. It's a metallic shade. I've not swatched mattes as yet, I know, but I do have a few mattes that I really want to recommend it to you guys if you are not much of a shimmer person. And this is not like a big shimmer, it's more of a sheen on the eyes when you apply it like with the fingers and like smoothen it out. But such a beautiful taupey shade. So that's Scarab from Tiny Marvels palette, and this is Literation from AB8's Jackie Aina palette. Now let's move on to the other shade which I'm super excited about, and this is Double Life from Urban Decay's Born to Run palette. This shade, anything with a red copper undertone would make brown eyes pop. I mean, this is more like that Pat McGrath's Corruption shade, but without the green flip. This is more of that rusty tone. I love putting this like on my eyelids. A lot of the times I would say there are two shades that I really like to put from that Urban Decay palette, and that especially flatters my brown eyes, and one of them is Double Life. I'll show you the other one also, but that is a dupe for another shade that I'm going to mention, and the shade name is called Smog. I absolutely love applying this shade for brown eyes. But a similar shade to that is my dupe is from Stila, or if you cannot find Stila, if you have the Urban Decay's Born to Run palette, you can definitely apply Smog from that palette, and this is in the shade Vivid Smoky Quartz. I absolutely love this shade, and this is such a beautiful bronze. I'll show it to you guys. This is like a true bronze in my opinion. This definitely gives more of an impact on the eyes just because it's like a liquid, a cream shadow. So the reflex would be much more like prominent, but this would dry up also super quickly, but the powder shadow would last for a long time. So just take your pick. This is again Double Life from Urban Decay's Born to Run palette, and this is Stila's Vivid Smoky Quartz. Now do not mind the sore look on my eyes because it is sore. Now let's move on to some matte shadows, and the first one that I have to recommend to you guys is from So Jaded palette from Kathleen Light's collection with Colourpop, and the shade that I want to mention is Jasper. This one, which is more of like again a purpley burgundy shade, I would say. So basically you understood. It's more of like anything with a purple undertone or a rusty undertone or a bronze is what flatters as a one and done eyeshadow for a brown colored eye. Look how soft it is, but you can definitely build it up. You saw that. I mean, if you just apply the shade like that and just blend it around the crease, you can definitely build it up. But this is a very soft shade. So that was Jasper. I also wanted to mention another shade which is from the At Forest site and Raw Beauty Christie collaboration, and the shade name is called Amanita. Now this also is a superb, like a pinky burgundy shade, I would say. Another shade that absolutely flatters from this palette on brown eyes is this shade, the orangey brown shade, which is called Rainier. Okay, let's apply Amanita. I know I'm gonna get a lot of fallout, especially with this like deep tones. And that is Amanita from the At Forest site palette. So this is Amanita and this is Jasper from So Jaded palette. Absolutely stunning mattes to put like all over the eye and like as a one and done eyeshadow. This is absolutely perfect. I would also show Rainier. I'll put that right on top of this just because I don't want to take it out. But I'll wipe off my brush. So see that orangey tone that is coming, and that's from the shade Rainier. Now this is Rainier from the same At Forest site palette, which is also absolutely lovely on brown eyes just because of that red undertone. The warmth from that shadow is what reflects on the brown eyes and it makes it more like a punchy brown, I would say. So I have more of like a a true brown eyes, I would say. But as soon as you put purple and like orangey tones, more of that copper tones, it would just pop like no other. So those were my top 15 one and done eyeshadows for brown eyes. And if you love these eyeshadows and if you have a go-to eyeshadow in your collection that you use as a one and done eyeshadow, leave it down in the comment section below. If I have not tested out, I would test it out for myself. But yes, if you guys are new to this channel, please do subscribe before leaving. And if you've come from Corley's channel, thank you so much for stopping by. But do subscribe to my channel too. Before you leave, and also ring that notification bell so that you're notified every time that I post next. I generally upload every Tuesdays, Thursdays and Saturdays at 9 AM Eastern Standard Time. Until next time, I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye!